This is the Aquaspirit 585, and for those not familiar with Aquaspirit, they're actually a Ukrainian brand like brig. They started off building commercially and for military, and they've recently moved into the leisure sector, and this is the biggest boat that they've built to date. There is a 7 metre in the offing. It's all aluminium, and this one is built to a particularly good spec. It's got the 115 horsepower Suzuki outboard, chart plotter, stereo system, etc. And this one with a trailer, £45,000 including VAT, so pretty good value for a turnkey package. Their new UK distributors down here in Plymouth, where it's blowing an absolute hoolie out there, hence why I'm dressed like I'm about to cross the Atlantic. Let's get out there and see how it copes. There's a wide range of outboards you can have on this boat, both brand and power. It's quite flexible. This one's got a Suzuki 115. You can have a 150 on this boat, and that will do about 42 knots according to the UK agent. This 115 today, we've seen 35 knots on the nose. Feels like perfectly good performance for a boat of this type. It means you can cruise anywhere between sort of 20 and 30 knots really. This 115 Suzuki is really nice, and the key thing is you get this fly-by-wire throttle, which means that slow speed manoeuvring is really nice because it snicks in and out of gear really smoothly. And then when you're at speed, the shape of the throttle means that it's very easy to have nice fine adjustment. You can rest your hand on the hub and you can just adjust the top of the throttle with your thumb, which is good when the boat might be bouncing around a bit. And actually this is an aluminium hull. It feels very solid. The ride does feel a bit firmer possibly than the equivalent fiberglass, but it really feels like it can take it. It's a very dry ride as well. It has a slightly flared bow design, this boat, and that does a really good job, along with the tubes, of kicking the spray away and ensuring you stay dry. Being aluminium, it's also a very light boat, so it fires out the hole really quickly and up onto the plane, where it settles into a really nice natural running attitude. But no trim tabs on this boat, but it doesn't heel or lean, even though we've got a breezy day today. And actually you don't need to do much to the engine trim either. Maybe trim it up a little bit just to get the leg away from the transom, but really it settles down nice and comfortably. And again, because of that low weight, at 20 knots it's only consuming 15 litres an hour. 25 knots, 20 litres an hour. 30 knots, 30 litres an hour. Really, really good efficiency, considering that, you know, you've got a 35, 36 knot boat here, but at those cruising speeds, it really is quite economical. And when it comes to turns, the steering, nice feedback. It's not too light. You know, this is a small boat. It doesn't wander around very much. You can take your hands off the wheel and it doesn't start moving around all over the place. But it's light enough that you can quickly swing the outboard from side to side. And hard turns with a lot of power on, it does spin its power away a little bit, so you just need to be careful to feed that power in. Say if you're going back to pick up a water skier who's fallen off, and you're best to slow down, turn hard, but just feed that power in nice and gently. We've come over to the calmer water here to film, but coming across Plymouth Sound, there's really some quite big waves there, and it handled it really well. Okay, you're not flying over them, but take it down to the 12 to 15 knots, it stays really dry, it feels really secure. So, you know, if the wind kicks up on an afternoon, you can feel pretty confident that it's going to get you back nice and safely. It just sort of ploughs through it, and again, because it's aluminium, it really feels of a piece. It feels tough and sturdy, and as if it's designed to take those sorts of conditions. It's a nice driving position as well. You know, you can, these seats are clever because you can lean like I'm doing now. There's enough space so you can fully stand too. Obviously then you don't get the protection from the windscreen, but you can also sit right down. And this is a really good position. This is quite go-karty. You sit low. Obviously you've got most protection from the windscreen in this position. The throttles and the wheel are really nice and high, close to your chest, close to each other as well. And if it's not really slamming, then I think this is a great position. Really, really comfortable to cover longer distances. And this whole seat section will move backwards. You have to unbolt it from the deck. It doesn't slide, but you can move it further back if you want to, if you want a little bit more leg room. The layout of the dash is really quite simple, but this boat's well specified. So you've got a Simrad MFD, you've got a Fusion stereo, you've got a Scanstrut phone charger up here as well. If I had one complaint, it would be that this smaller Suzuki screen, when you're sat down, is right behind the windscreen. The steering wheel is completely blocking it. It'd be better to have that a bit higher up on the dash. It would be better when you're standing up as well, to be honest. But it's a really simple but very effective helm position. I've thoroughly enjoyed driving this boat today. Now, in comparison to a fiberglass boat of this size, aluminium finish can look a little bit rough and ready. Obviously you've got the welds on show and there's some hard angles, but the benefit is that you've got a very, very tough hull beneath your feet, and if you're going to be beaching it, dragging it on and off a trailer, then it's really well suited to that kind of thing. And this boat even has a thickened aluminium strip down its keel, specifically so that if you put it on the beach, it's not going to affect the hull. And actually the layout works really well. This has only got half tubes. On a normal rib, obviously the tubes are full so that they sort of eat into deck space, which means you get more space to move around. It's a nice, safe walk around layout. And the other benefit is, because the top sides here are aluminium, you can mount these railings, you've got cleats all the way along, somewhere to mount your fenders. Works really nicely. And the layout itself is good. It's not a very big boat, this, but there's lots of seating. Obviously you've got this aft bench here, there's storage beneath that. This is a really good setup. You can have bucket seats, but I wouldn't recommend those, because this leaning post just gives you that bit more support out at sea if you want to stand to drive, which you probably will do on a rib of this size. There's a little bit of crudeness going on here at the helm, like this netting down here. It's nice to have the storage, but it just feels a little bit low quality. Likewise this holder here, but you know, you've got your Scanstrut phone charger, Simrad MFD, you've got another Suzuki screen here, a couple of switches here for lighting, etc. That stuff's okay. Could just do with being tidied up a little bit. It's great on a rib of this size to have this social area up here. I mean, back in the day this would have just been open space on the rib, maybe some U-shaped seating if you're lucky, but you've got the table in here, you've got a bit of back support, perfectly comfortable place to sit and have a picnic. And there's some other nice detailing as well, like the fact you've got some cup holders and storage space down by the aft bench. I should also point out, if you think that the red and black looks a little bit too Harbour Patrol for your liking, you can have the cushions, the tubes in pretty much any colour you like, so there's a bit of customization there. But one thing I would say is that this is a pretty new boat, and already the cushions look like they're fading a little bit, so maybe not the best quality material on the seats. There are some small changes that Aquaspirit could make to this model to improve it, and it will take them time to build their reputation in what's a pretty crowded market. But I have to say, for my first taste of this brand, I've been thoroughly impressed by what this boat's capable of. It feels much bigger than it is because it's so substantially built and because of the layout of the deck. And I think for a turnkey package, sub £50,000, including VAT, it has a hell of a lot going for it.